Next, you're going to play Achy Breaky Heart. But anyway, this is Sportmentary, and joining me from Winnipeg is the Comish for another Big Blue recap. And in reality, it really should be the Little Boy recap, because seriously, just another debacle this past weekend. I don't know what, I'm out of words, Sport. I mean, Comish, tell me what you think.
What was it, 35-10? Buck Pierce gets knocked out of the game again.
Surprise, surprise.
It was a microcosm of the Bombers' season, basically. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. Although, even though they were down 21-0 really quick, I still think they had a chance if Buck Pierce would have stayed in the game. But Buck Pierce cannot stay upright. It was a cheap shot, no doubt about it. And now they're saying that he had a concussion. Has a mild concussion, so again, this is concussion number who knows what. And it's really time for the Bombers to start thinking to the future.
You know what? Concussions, not concussions, whatever. Cheap shot, not cheap shot. It happens all the time in sports. It happens all the time in football. These guys take cheap shots. The bottom line is, and I don't know if I'm the only Blue Bomber fan that feels this way, and I doubt I am, but every time the guy is, a defender breathes on him, I cringe because I think he's going to crumble and get injured. If I feel this way, you got to believe his teammates feel this way, and there's no way to run an organization.
I don't know that his teammates feel that way. I heard Terrence Edwards interviewed, and he was saying how Buck is their man, and Buck is the reason they can be competitive. I don't think they feel confident about the backups. That's the problem. The Bombers did a terrible job of getting a experience. They didn't get an experienced backup. They haven't had one for years. And
but what do you expect them to say? They're going to support him. I don't disagree. A healthy Buck is a very good quarterback and a great leader. Okay, I'm not taking that away from the guy. But the problem is, the guy played what, like a game and a quarter? What was it? I mean, something like that. And boom, he's injured again. I mean, there's no way you can run a football team and try for consistency with this type of thing happening. It's not one injury, it's not two injuries, it's chronic. Okay, I like the guy. It pains me to see it. You know, the guy's really got potential to be a great quarterback if he could stay on the field for a few games at a time.
Well, that's why Wally Bono got rid of him. He couldn't stay on the field. Unfortunately, he's a broken man.
Some guys are just prone to injury, and I just think he's one of them. As I said, I don't really want I don't want this to become a knock on Buck, because the Bombers have far more problems than Buck. Okay, and the whole season, the games that he didn't play, they were putrid. And I want to bring this back, really full circle back to Mac. Okay, right? The mess was created by by Mac coming into the season. He fires La Police in the season. I think the Bombers have been worse with La Police out. It's no offense to the interim coach, because I think the guy should stay around for a while. Okay? It's Mac. Okay? This guy is a doofus. Alright? This guy is inept. It's time that he got a pink slip.
Well, they're not going to give Buck Pierce the pink slip.
It's too scary.
They're not going to give Joe Mack the pink slip.
By the way, are you showing your kids? Did you TiVo that game or something and showing them a replay of the Bomber game? You're right. That is scary, kid.
Yeah, he saw the Buck Pierce hit. It's scary. And the fact of the matter is, we can talk till we're blue in the face about Joe Mack. The board will make their decision at the end of the year. It is what it is for this season, and they still have 5 more games to play.
You know what? I feel like I've been through 50 games already this season.
It's been a long season. Let's face it. When they're not even competitive in most games.
How do we watch another 5 games like this? Seriously, there has to be something for people to watch. Okay, I'm not the type of guy that I'm going to watch the game for them to get demolished every game, because I don't get pleasure seeing my team get demolished. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
So take that. If they said, okay, they're early in the season with LA, it was like, oh, let's see how this guy. You watch it. Maybe they're going to lose every game, but you watch it because you want to see how he develops. There's nothing to watch in that realm. There's nobody going for a record as far as I know. There's no, what are we watching this for? Another 5 games. If they said, you know what, if they lose the next game and the BOD said, in the next game they lose, we're going to fire Mac, I'd watch it. Okay? Not saying I'd want them to lose, but at least it would be something to watch. There's nothing for me to watch. And I'm going to watch them because I have to watch them.
That's a great idea, though. They should try to get fans to watch. They should say, if we lose this game, this player will be cut. They should make it kind of like Survivor, where someone has to get kicked off the team if they lose. But the point is, if you're a fan, you're a fan. You got to watch, good or bad. And there's lots to watch for to see how these quarterbacks perform over the next 5 games. To see see which players step it up and which players don't. I think that's all you can watch for the rest of the year. It's not about wins or losses anymore because those don't matter.
As I said, I don't know what they can do to get people to watch. As I said, you and I are going to watch the games, right? Because we're going to report back on the games, right? So we're watching it. We're prisoners to the season.
Well, you've jumped off the bandwagon, I guess, and
No, but I'm not off the bandwagon. I'm on the bandwagon. Unfortunately, I'm on the bandwagon. I'm on there for the ride, okay? However bumpy, however terrible, however worse it gets, you and I are on the ride. What I'm saying is, it would be nice if there was something else to grip us, to make those games somewhat enjoyable. A side note, it would be great for the fans to have something to cheer for. Seriously, I'm pretty sure that...
Why are 3,000 people showing up to Blue Jay games? They must have found a reason to go.
I'm wondering if they hope that those... I'm wondering if they hope those hotel rooms open up again and have a show. I don't know.
I agree. Listen, it is very hard to have any reason to watch now that they're all but mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. But I'm hoping they'll give Justin Gaultz a chance at quarterback. I'm hoping we'll actually get to see, Buck Pierce. I hope he'll sit out because they're saying there might be a chance he'll play on Monday against. I just don't think there's any point to this.
I think that's ridiculous. Just for the health of a guy is one, okay? Because we know what concussions can do. But second of all, if they were fighting for a playoff spot and a legitimate shot. Now, had they won last game, you could argue they're on a roll. They have a shot at the playoffs. Let's be honest, they're not going to make the playoffs. So why put a guy in there anyway? And they shouldn't. On principle, they shouldn't put him in. But if let's say they felt compelled because they're in a playoff hunt, okay, there's just no way to put the guy in. Although maybe they're hoping people will watch the game. There you go. There's the side note. There's the thing. Watch the game to see if Buck Pierce can stay on his feet for another quarter. But that's ridiculous. I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch him go down. I don't want another concussion. And I don't want this guy's life to be in jeopardy.
I agree with you. And at some point, I think management has to step in and stop him from making a big mistake.
Management? Who are we talking about here? Say his name, because I'm not going to say it anymore.
Well,
you have to have somebody who's competent. You have to have somebody who cares. You have to have somebody who has integrity, okay? He has none of that. And I'm not going to say his name. I'm going to call him the GM. He has none of that. All right? We saw what he was made of when he threw the head coach under the bus. All right?
No, that's true. I lost a lot of faith in him when that happened, and I don't think he'll be back next year. But I think the rest of the season the focus can't be on Joe Mack. We've seen what he's done. Now it's up to the players to show us if they have talent, who has heart, who has character. I'm anxious to see how Chad Simpson plays. I'm anxious to see how, Mwamba keep improving over the next few games. I'll be watching for those little things. But overall, they got to start looking towards next year, and there has to be some smart off-season moves, including picking up a veteran quarterback who could either back up Buck Pierce, who could show Joey Elliott and Alex Brink the way. Something has to be, and start with a new offensive coordinator. Maybe they can pry Kahari Jones away from his job and come back to Winnipeg. I don't know. It's just lots of questions need to be answered.
They need a new OC.
Oh, that goes without a doubt, without saying.
But what I'm saying is, let's hope they get rid of Mac, because the obvious would hopefully slap some normal dude in the face. Okay? The obvious doesn't slap this guy in the face. Alright? So you need, as I said, the GM, alright, is not a normal GM. You could pound his face with reality. It wouldn't help. Hopefully there's a new guy who has a smidgen of common sense and does some of the things we're talking about here. Okay? And yes, am I mad? I'm flipping out. Why? Because I'm so sick of our GM that all I'm doing is I'm going to ridicule him. Did I say I can't stand the GM?
I understand he can't stand him, but the damage is done with him. We know it has to be done. Let's focus on what's going to happen next game. The question is, will Buck Pierce start?
You know what? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say I hope not. Just for his health. I hope not. I hope there's some common sense all around. I think you take the decision out of his hands and you got to make it the right decision for his health. No.
Okay, so assuming Buck Pierce doesn't start, I think they're going to try to start him. I just have a feeling. But let's say that, does Winnipeg shock Montreal?
Not a chance. Let's just go right in your prediction. You start with your prediction.
Well, I'd like to go on a limb and say, it's going to be a classic letdown game for Montreal, but Montreal's coming off a loss to Saskatchewan. It was a Calgary, sorry. And I think it's going to be the score is going to be in the 50s. It's 52 to maybe 7 for the Bombers, for Montreal over the Bombers.
55-3 is my score.
Well, there might be a field goal. Yeah, that could happen.
Or 3 Rouges.
Well, unfortunately, it was Montreal lost to Hamilton last week.
Now, well, anyway, we're done. I mean, sports is weird and anything can happen. Let's throw that out there. Is there any chance that the Bombers can find a way to win? Of course, it's sports. Any given day, right? Realistically, do they have a chance? We both said we're talking total obliteration, both of us. So that tells us what we think the real chances are of them winning. Really, my big concern, my real big concern is Buck Pierce taking the field and Buck Pierce getting seriously hurt. Okay? I'm going to throw it out there. He doesn't deserve that.
At this point, I'm kind of anxious to see. I want to see him start. I want to see what happens.
Dude, the guy's a warrior. Let's give him some credit. The guy's a warrior. The guy could have all his limbs falling off and he'd want to go in there. And I give him credit for that. But this is a professional sport. The professionals, besides Buck, need to come out and say they can't start him. Okay? Seriously.
Matt Dunnigan tried to talk some sense into him. Buck has to do what he feels is best for himself.
I disagree. I think the team needs to take that decision away from them. I really don't think he should start. As I said, it's his health. Okay? How would anybody on that organization live with it if he got something that was so serious in his life due to an injury? And let's argue that the guy does have a concussion, mild or not. His head's not recovered. God forbid, dude. Seriously. How does anybody consider taking that chance with a life? Seriously, that pisses me off.
Well, listen, I'm not saying that it's it would be irresponsible of them to start him, but I don't know. I get the feeling that they want to.
I'm just gonna leave my comments at that because the ridiculous just keeps on getting more ridiculous. If they start him, this organization is void of character. They're void of human decency. And they are just a cesspool of people. Okay?
Well, listen, they haven't started him yet.
I'm saying if they start.
No, let's not go overboard here. Let's just
it's not
him.
overboard. I'm saying if they start the guy.
But we're not doctors. We don't know what. There's a protocol they have to follow. If he passes the test, then he can play.
All right, I'm going to ask you a question here, legitimately, okay? Knowing what we know now with his previous game and being taken out, what do you think the chance is if Buck is taking some shots in the game? What is the chance that he will make it through the game? Even one hit. What's the chance that one hard hit, knowing what we know, will get him out of the game? And I'm going to say 98%.
No, I agree. I agree. Listen, starting him, I've already said there's no real point to starting him. Season's over, but we're not the management and can't get inside their heads. Don't know why they'd even say there's a chance he'll play unless it's just gamesmanship to kind of go give Montreal, Montreal has to prepare for him and for Joey Elliott. So that would be the only reason why they've said he might start.
I got a question, probably the most legitimate question of the Bombers season to date. So they're handing out free water or have handed out free water, right?
Yeah.
Have they given the GM any free water? Because he sure as hell looks like he's dehydrated. His brain ain't functioning, dude. All right. I think on that note, I'm really can't say much more than what I've said. I've said quite a bit again today. I'm signing off personally.
Daddy, could I make number?
Okay.
I think that's a good cue to.
Daddy. Make number.
Right.
We'll see you next week and see who's right about this.
All right. You take care.
Have a good week, Bombers, and let's hope that you prove us wrong.
Oh, let's hope. All right. Bye.
Bye.